Are you clear, guys? So hope you can remember what we have done so far. Even last week also we have gone through 2 assignments which we discussed about again what we have gone through so far. That is actually sort of a summarized lecture that we have done last week. So today we will be continuing with the rest of the things, and I hope we can be able to complete the subnet part and IP addressing part today itself. And next week we will be starting with the IP vision for header analysis. So that is another one, important one for your theoretical background, but that is not necessary for your corporate environment. When you go for the experiences, when you're working in the live environment, so we will never deal with this IP headers, IP analyzing, IP header analysis, and those sort of things. We are not going to deal with it. But instead, what we actually practice in the corporate environment is the subnetting that we have gone through so far. Hope you can hear me, guys.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. So this is the last part of the subnetting that we are going to learn. Like say for example, I'll give you one again exercise that we need to look at. I need these things. Like if I say I have IP address of 192.168.248 dot, let's say for example 16/28 network.
Sir, we can't see. Are you writing something?
Yes.
Coming, going, coming, going.
Okay, no worries. Just ignore that one. So what I'm asking here is it's something like this. Let's say for example, if I say 192, I have 192.168.248 dot 16/28 network. You need to just find out number of IPs in this IP block and then those IPs. What are those IPs? Number of IPs in this IP block and what are those IPs? What are those IPs? Can you guys quickly go through this? Because you know what is this. When you say 192.168.248.16, so you should know that whenever you say /28, you should know number of, this is /28 in the sense they have assigned from the 32-bit subnet, they have assigned first 28 for the network and the rest of the 4 bits for the last 4 bits for the host. So with that hint, can you guys just start on calculating this thing? So I'll give you 5 minutes time. So just go through it and then I will definitely explain you how to find it. Guys, it's time to you to do exercise. Guys, okay. Are you done? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
But I can't hear anything. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We can hear you.
Okay, right, great. What about did you able to find out the number of IPs and the details?
Is that 15, sir?
16.
16.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's not the 15. It's actually 16. I'll explain that one. So let me go through this particular theoretical part again. Um, just look at when you look at this particular one like /28. When you say /28, if I write it down in the um, subnet mask with the binaries manner, so it contains 28 ones. 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So 24, there are 24 ones. 1 2 3 4. Now 28. So when you say 28/28, what they are defining is the network part. So it contains 28 ones. The rest of the thing will goes 4 zeros. 1 2 3 4. So these 4 zeros will contain the host details. That means there are 4 bits assigned for the host. That means it contains 2 to the power. So the last 4 bits, yeah, 4 bits assigned for the host. It means that contain 2 to the power. Okay, nothing to worry, just focused on this what I'm saying. So when you say 192.168 248 dot 16/28 network 28 network /28 in the sense what they are referring here is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot, that is 24 ones, and another 4 ones, 1 2 3 4. So that conclude the 28 networks, that is the /28, and they have assigned the rest of the 4 bits, that is the another zeros for the host addressing. So that means they have assigned 4 bits for the host. That is what exactly saying is you can create 2 to the power 4 number of host IPs in here. That means exactly how much is it? 16. 2 to the power 4 in the sense 16. So when you say /28 network, so you will be able to create the number of ports of 16. So if they are saying that your starting point on the IP address is 192.168.248.16. So from this point onwards, you can assign another 16 IPs to the your network. That means 192.168.248.17. That is the second IP. 192.168.248.18. 192.168.248.19. Likewise, we can add 16 IP addresses. 19, 192.248.20, 192.248.21, 192.248.22, 192.248.23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. So you will be able to see that this contains 16 IP addresses. So this particular network, when you say 192.168.248.16/28, that contains 16 hosts. 16 host, which is starting point is 0.16 and that will go to the 31. So there are 16 IP addresses. Is it clear, guys? Guys,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay. What about the others?
Excuse me, sir. එතකොට sir දීලා තියෙන IP එක තියෙන්නේ second subnet එකේ නේද sir?
ඔව් මම මේක මම ඔයාලට දුන්නේ second subnet එක. දැන් ඔයාලට මෙතන තව දෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් හිතුවොත් මේකෙම IP subnet එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් 62480/28 network. එතකොටත් මේකෙත් host IPs ගාන කීයද? host IPs ගාන 16යි. ඇයි bit 4යිනේ අයින් වෙන්නේ. bit 4ක් අයින් වෙන හින්දා host IPs ගාන 16යි. හරිනේ. So then here also you can start with like this 192.168.248.0 පළවෙනි IP එක 248.1 248.2 248.3 248.4 248.5 248.6 248.7 248.9 so 8 248.9 248.10 248.11 248.12 248.13 248.14 248.15 මෙතන හරියටම IP 16ක් තියෙනවා බිඳුවේ ඉඳන් 15 වෙනකම් මෙතන බලන්න ගැටනලා IP 16යි දෙවෙනි එක පටන් ගන්න ඔයාලගේ මේ තියෙන දෙවෙනි සබ්නෙට් එකේ අර /28 network එකට කැඩුවොත් මෙහෙම තමයි ඉන්නේ ඔයාලා දැන් network කඩලා තියෙනවනේ ඉස්සෙල්ලම ඔයාලා network කඩන්න පුළුවන් මම ඔයාලට කිව්වේ කඩන විදිහ ඒ විදිහටම මේක කඩලා තියෙන්නේ මේ තියෙන්නේ ඒකේ සබ්නෙට් එක එන විදිහ is it clear guys මේක
Yes, sir.
තේරුණාද
Yes, sir.
right it's a simple thing huh? So subnetting is not a much complicated task so it's very much simple thing which you if you understand the concepts you can easily go through it. Now what I want to highlight here is when you are going through this particular environment, see here you have the look at here whenever you define the IP address set you have 16 IP, but when you go into assigning when you are going to assigning to the IP like say for example to the host there is the two rules. Always the first IP address of the subnet. The first IP address of the subnet in here it is 192.168.248.16. In this subnet it is 192.168.248.0. Always keep in mind the first subnet IP address, first IP address of that particular subnet has been reserved for what?
Broadcast.
Broadcast or network?
Network ID.
Yeah, the always this first IP address of the subnet, any subnet, it can be anything. It can be anything. Even if you go through something like this, if you go through something like just the basic class C subnet. So when you say /24, the first IP address of here is 192.168.1.0. So that will we have the 2 to the power 8. That is we can assign 256 IP addresses. So the last IP address on here is 192.168.1.255. So because we can assign 256 IP addresses because here it says if you can see here it is assigning /24 network. That means first 24 bits assigned for the network. The last 8 bits is assigned for the host. So there are 8 bits that we can shuffle and create the IP addresses. Just excuse me guys. So now you can see that. So you can say that 192.168.1.0 that is you are having this is the first IP. So we can build up 1, 2, 3 until up to the 256. That means 256 IPs. That is it will end it with the 2 192.168.1.255. So that is contain the 256 IP addresses. Now, if you look at here, any network, once you create any type of network, keep in mind that it will always reserving the first IP address of the subnet as a network IP address. So that is the theory. So we cannot assign the first IP to any machines. So the first IP address of the subnet reserved for the net as actually not the for the reserved as a network address. So which network address whenever you want to actually, that is we don't have much purposes on it. Whenever you want to describe your network, here you can see 192.168.248.0/28. That is the exact the first IP address that will be describing your network. 192.168.1.0/24, that is the first IP again, that is describing your network. Then again 192.168.248.16, that is the first IP address, that is again that is describe your network. So likewise you will be seeing that it is describing your network. So the first IP address always assigned reserved as a network IP address, which is describing your network. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What about the rest? So others, please, I need your confirmation. Guys, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. The second then the always in the last IP address. The last IP address of the subnet is always reserved as what? As broadcast address. That is called broadcast address. So keep in mind that so the last IP address of the subnet is always reserved for the as a broadcast address. That means whenever the meaning of the broadcast address, whenever you want to talk to the whole machines in once. See, right now I am delivering a lectures through the Zoom sessions where I will be contacting you the whole of your batchmates with one platform. So it's a broadcasting. Now I am actually broadcasting to your the computer network subjects to the all of you. Where it sits, there are three different disciplinary people like multimedia, software, then again network, and again the I think only three badges, right? Three disciplinaries. Is it? Are there any people who are coming from the Bachelor of Education degree?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
So I'm just delivering to the three disciplinary people. So it's a broadcasting. So whenever I'm going to delivering the lectures for the Linux system administration, that is I'm focusing only for the network people. It's a multicasting, a set of specific group that I'm delivering lectures rather than distributing to the whole batch. So this is right now I am delivering a sort of a broadcast messages. So that is exactly whenever there are certain requirement in the network also, the devices which require to send the messages to the the whole set rather than sending to one by one. So those are, we call it as broadcast messages. Whenever they want to address the whole network in one shot, we should have an IP address to access it. So always keep in mind, in each and every subnet, the last IP address is reserved for the broadcast. In this case, 192.168.248.31 is a broadcast address. 192.168.248.15 is a broadcast address in this domain. 192.168.1.255 is the broadcast address in this domain. So keep in mind that whenever you are going to design a network, we should have always two reserved IPs. Two reserved IPs where it is not admissible or it is not allowed to assign those IPs to the PCs. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any issues or concern? Do you have any issues or concerns?
No, sir.
Right. Great, great. Good. So now we have learned these things. Let's do some practices again and again. So where we will be learning so many things here. I will be giving you sort of a, let's say for example, if I want to just think about, this is the questions that I want to ask. If I want to have 16 host IP addresses, just tell me what is the subnet that we require. What is the subnet that we require? I don't want to use any other things. Just tell me the subnet. I require the 16 host IP address. I need to assign the 16 IP addresses to the host. Just tell me what is the subnet that I require. The second question.
27.
If I want to have 5th, like say for example, 31 host IP addresses, what is the subnet that we require? Then again, if I want to have 60 hosts IP addresses, what is the subnet that we required? Okay, guys, I need the answers for these three things. I need the answers for these three things. So someone is having issues to connect to the, I guess this is, who is this? Guys, can you just, I'll message him. Okay, just give me the answers for this thing while I'm messaging to him.
Sir, I have a simple question.
Yeah.
So, the second one, when we are considering 31 IP addresses,
Okay.
so when we are calculating, we can take 31, but I heard that in IP, when creating IP addresses, all should be in binary format. That means we can't take 31, we should have take 33, 32.
Yeah, that's we have already discussed this one. That is correct. So that we have already gone through it as well. So you can't take this type of odd number. So what you can take is, if it is 31 host, what is you have to look at is the nearly rounded up value for the 2 to the power values. So nearly higher value, like say for example, for if you are going to choose 31, So you have to think about 32 IP addresses, because 2 to the power values that is wind up nearly here is the 32. 2, 4, like 2 to the power value, if you look at 2 to the power 0, 1, 2 to the power 1, 2, 2 to the power 2, 4, 2 to the power 3, 8, then 16, 32, 64, 128. So likewise, you must look at that once. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is exactly what we have discussed in last couple of weeks. So we can't take that type of values, like the 31 can't take exactly, because the binaries does not have the 31. So of course you must think about in the round up values, which is nearly for the 2 to the power values, nearly and high values. So we are going to have tomorrow lecture also. Tomorrow we do have another final assignment for this subnetting. Definitely tomorrow we have assignment. So don't miss the classes on tomorrow. That is, I'm keeping inform you on beforehand. So tomorrow we are going to have the assignment.
browser and PC.
So are you done, guys? So just give me the answers. So let me ask it someone. So just give me the answers. So SOF 19B101. So can you tell me the answers? SOF 19B101. Lucky winner. Guys, I need your answers. Guys, I need your answer. Are you in or not? Because I don't get any response from that person. SOF 19B101. Who is that person? I need the answers that you have gone through.
Sir, please check the chat list. He put down the answer on chat list.
Okay, let me check it. Just give me a second, guys, because I'm trying to figure out where the chat list is. Okay, right. Okay, I get the answers. Okay, that is there. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, okay, guys. So let me see what is the actual answers. Okay, so if it is required 16 host, that is, just keep in mind, this is related to the last theory that we have discussed right now, just before this particular 3 questions. If it is required a 16 host IP addresses, actually how many addresses, the IP addresses we require, because 16 that we need to assign for the host.
18.
Then we need to have another 2 extra IPs. What was those things? What are those things?
Networking and broadcast.
Network IP and the broadcast IP. Network IP and the broadcast IP. Network IP plus the broadcast. Because we have to assign that one as well. Because because if you just took only the 16 IP addresses, if you just took only the 16 IP addresses, what it actually gives here is, you can only assign for the 14 IP addresses. You can only assign for the 14 IP addresses for the host, because there are another 2 hosts we need to allocate for the broadcast. We need to allocate for the broadcast IP and the network IP. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
So here we require two things. So 16 plus another 2 IP addresses. 16 plus another 2 IP addresses. Altogether, we need to decide the network subnet for the 18 IP addresses. 18 IP addresses. So what is the nearest value for the 18 IP addresses? Nearest 2 to the power value for the 18?
32.
It's 32. That means 2 to the power?
6,
2 to the power?
5.
5. That means subnet ghost should be like, so we have to remove 5 last bits for the host. That means from the 32 subnet, we have to remove, that means we are having 27 subnet masks. 27 subnet masks in the sense 18, 24 ones, 26, 27, 25, 26, 27. Rest of the zeros, 5 zeros will be assigned for the host. That means 255 dot 255 dot 255 dot. What is the values for these three things? Like it's contain 128 plus 128 plus 64 plus 128 plus
64 plus 32.
64 plus 32. That is 224. I guess most of your answers were not correct. I guess let me check that one. Yeah, because they have exactly calculate for the 240. 240 in the sense you have exactly taken only the 16 IPs. Is it? Someone has given exact answers. See, to Pragati Sachinika has given the answers correctly. Pragati, yeah, he has done a good job. She has done a good job. Then SOF 19 B101, is it a girl or boy?
Boy,
Sorry?
boy. I think his mic is not working.
Okay. A man, okay. What a kind of a man? A man, okay. What kind of a man are you? 24. That is giving the correct answers again. At least one boy from your batch having the idea on the network. Because keep in mind, guys, if you look at the network side jobs, most of the networking people are actually, it's not actually gender discriminations, but most of them are male. So very few of females were engaged in the network field, but still they were in the software industry and different IT industry as well. But that is good. Again, Chamat also given the correct answers. That is correct. J. Vinushan, net 19B110. That is here. He also get the correct answers. That is Pragati. Yeah. So Tarinda has given one answer. I'm not quite sure whether this is given for what, but he's so somewhat okay. He's for that but first answer. Sorry. Okay, okay. Right, right. I can see that one. Yes, yes. You are correct. That also you are having the, you have given the correct answers. Yeah. Rest of the guys, I guess most of the people, they have think about just only the 16 host IP. They have forget about the network part, that the sorry, the reserved IP connect, the IP addresses that we were discussed just few minutes ago. Are you clear, guys? The concept is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because most of your people, you guys have been answers like with the mindset of just finding about the 16 IPs only. Yeah, 10 nil again giving the correct answers. Yes, 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 yes. I guess Olur, so we don't have any medicines or any type of medical instruction here. Better to check with your family doctor, I guess.
No, it is that's blinking previously blinking Windows
Okay,
phone,
okay.
he told this. It's
Okay, no worries, no worries.
so is that answer is /27 or 255
You can put anything. It's not a actually a restrictions, but what we can put it here is, we can put either the /27 or we can put the fully subnet mask. This is the /27 is a slash notation. This is the subnet mask. If I ask the subnet mask, you have to give it in this manner. If I say that write it down the slash notations, then you have to give it in that manner. But when it comes to the live environment, you can put anything. There are no restrictions. Clear, guys?
Yes, okay, sir. Thank you.
So the next thing that we will be going to discuss about the 31 host IP addresses. If I say host IP is 31, how much of the other IP address we require? Another 2 IP addresses, 2 reserved IPs. That is again for the broadcast and the network. So how many IP addresses we require then again? 33 IPs. So if I want to go through the 33 IP, what is the nearest 2 to the power value for the 33?
2 to the power of 6, 64.
Yeah, it's a 64. That means
2 to
2
the
to the
power
power
6.
of 6. 2 to the power of 6. So that means you need to reserve from the 32-bit subnet. You have to remove 6 bits for the host. That means the subnet mask will calculate, slash notation will calculate like 26. /26. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
That means what you need to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot. There are 24 ones, 25, 26, and rest of the bits will be set it as zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now the subnet mask that we goes as 255.255.255. Sorry, 255.255. What is the IP last 2 IPs? It's a 192.
192.
192. So that is what you require. So the last one is again 60 IP addresses, 60 host IPs, and it means you require another 2 extra IPs for the reserved ones. Two extra IPs for the reserved ones.
62 IPs, we can take 64, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the nearest value for this one is the 62 IPs. The nearest 2 to the power value is 64. 64. 64 in the sense, what is the value? 2 to the power, again 2 to the power 6. That means
190.
from the 32-bit subnet, you need to remove 6. That is for the host. That means slash notation if you take like 26 slash notations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 24 ones, 25 ones, 26 ones. Rest of the things are zeros.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
In the case of finding host IP addresses, just like finding IP address for given host, so every
Yes.
time we need to plus 2 for the given
Exactly.
host.
Yes, exactly. Because if they says that we need to assign the IP addresses for the 20, so you need to have extra 2 IPs. Why is that? Because 20 their meaning that is for the host. They don't talk about the separately network and the broadcast addresses. So we need to consider that one.
Okay, sir.
Because anyway, if you just ignore the network and the broadcast addresses, and if you design the network, definitely in any IP addresses, the last IPs and the any IP address block, the last IP and the first IP cannot be utilized for host IP. So then if you need the 16 IPs for the host, and you just exactly take in the 16 subnet IP address subnet, so you can use only the 14 IP addresses. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So that is one of the important thing that you need to understand. Now again, so here what we are saying is 255.255.255 dot again 192. So this is the /26 IP network. Are you done, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is what we required when we are dealing with it, when we dealing with the finding the IP addresses. So keep in mind that always we need to assign 2 separate IPs as a reserved IPs when you designing the networks.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
ඒ සර් ඒ IP දෙක ඒ කියන්නේ හොස්ට්ලාට දෙන්න වෙනම ඒ කියන්නේ ඩිවයිසස් තියෙනවා සර් ඒ දෙක දෙන්න ඒ IP
නෑ කාටවත් දෙන්න බෑ ඔයාට. ඒක ඒ දෙක network එකේ ඒ විදිහ assign කරන්න බැරි IP දෙකක්. ඔයාලා දැන් හිතන්නකෝ ඒ IP එක machine එකට දාන්න ගියා කියලා. machine එක දාන්න දෙන්නෙම නෑ ඒක. ඒක network එකේ assign separately reserved edge IP දෙකක්. කාටවත් assign කරපුව නෙමෙයි ඒක.
කරගන්නයි මේ පැකට් එක වලයි.
network එක identify කරගන්නයි ඔයාලට මුළු network එකටම කතා කරන්න ඕන නම් data packet එකක් යවන්න කෙලින්ම network එක identify කරගන්න තමයි පළවෙනි IP address එක ගන්නෙ. data packet එකක් ඔක්කොටම යවන්න ඕන නම් broadcast IP එක last IP එක වෙනවා. Clear guys?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right. Any other questions? So you can ask that it doesn't matter whether it is Single or English. What it matter is we need to understand the concepts. That's it.
That means broadcast IP address is standing for representing all the IP addresses in the network, just like
not all the IP addresses, all the machine in
machine
the
IP.
network.
Okay.
Yes, not all the IP addresses. All the machine.
Okay.
machine ටික represent කරන්නේ broadcast එක. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා broadcast එකට message එකක් දැම්මොත් එහෙම මුළු ඔක්කොම machine වලට message එක යනවා. data packet එක address කරොත් ඔයාලා broadcast IP එකට ඒ කියන්නේ 192.168 අර කලින් case එකේ 1.255 if your addresses to 1.255 192.168 1.255 that is that data packet will be goes to the all the IP addresses on the network. Is it clear, guys?
සර් එතකොට
සර්
සර්
පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා.
Oh.
සර් එතකොට හිතන්නකෝ හොස්ට්ලා 62ක් හිටියා කියලා.
Oh.
එතකොට අපිට නෙට්වර්ක් එකට තව දෙකක් ඕන අතර 64ක්නේ. එතකොටත් ගන්න දෙකේ 6 වෙනි බලයද? අරන්ද ගන්න.
අවුලක් නැහැ නේද 64යි. හරියටම 64ක් තියෙනවනේ.
හරි. තියෙනවානේ.
දැන් ඔයාලට මෙහෙමයි. ආයි ඒක ගැන හිතන්න එපා. ඔයාලා IP address දෙකක් දාලා හරියටම 64 ආවනම් ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ 64 ගන්න. මොකද 62ක් කොහොමත් පුළුවන් නේ. 64 ගත්තම හරි. ඒක කිසි ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. හැබැයි ඔයා මැෂින් 64ක් ඕනි කියලා හරියට 64 ගන්න බෑ. මොකද ඇත්තටම 66ක් ඕනනේ IPs. එතකොට ගන්න ඕනේ ඊළඟ ලෙවල් එක.
ඊළඟ ලෙවල් එක. හරි සර් හරි. thank you.
තවත් කවුරු හරි ඉස්සර ප්‍රශ්න
Sir.
අහන්න ගියා.
ඔව් සර් මේ සර් මේ අර දැන් අපි ඔය net මේ IP යූස් කරන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය ස්ටැටික් විදිහටනේ. සර් අපි ඔක මේ මම අර කලිනුත් ඇහුවා සර්. ඒතකොට මේ ප්‍රශ්නේදී අහන්න කිව්වා. මේ එතකොට අපි සර් ඩයිනමික් විදිහට IP යූස් කරොත් දැන් network එක රීස්ටාර්ට් කරද්දී ඔක මාරු වෙන්නේ නැද්ද සර්? IP තියෙන හොස්ට්ලාගේ
DHCP දැම්මොත්ද?
ඔව් සර්.
නෑ. ඒක වෙන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. මම නිකන් එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්නම් DHCP concept එක. මෙන්න මෙහෙම දෙයක්. So I'll show you how to do that one also. DHCP වලදී කරන්නේ අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපිට IP address දැන් හිතන්නකෝ මේ concept එක එන්නේ මෙහෙම දෙයකට. If you don't guys just tell me, is it okay if I explain this one with the Sinhala Tamil medium people? I'm just asking from you guys especially.
It's
Is
okay,
it
sir.
okay
No
if I
problem.
explain? Okay, right? Everyone is fine, right?
Yes, sir. Fine.
Sure.
No,
Right,
sir.
okay.
We can't understand.
Okay. Right, okay, no worries. Then I'll explain with English language. So, and again, I will explain from the with the Sinhala as well. No worries, no worries. We'll go through with the. Unfortunately, I can't speak Tamil. Otherwise, I will explain it with the Tamil language as well. Unfortunately, I can't speak Tamil. But let me explain this in this way. When you want to configure a network like your computer, you can configure your IP address on your computer, just that you have already done that one. One thing is you can manually add the IP address, that is called static IP address, where it will be a permanent IP address in your network adapter. It's going to be added in here. Then next thing here is second thing is the DHCP, that is called Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, that we call it as a DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. On the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, that we will be heavily used in an environment where we have a number of hosts. That means many number of hosts. That like say for example 100, 150, because it's not practical to configure one by one and going to the each and every machine and configure one by one. So in that scenario, what exactly we are dealing here is we will be assigning the IP addresses in a dynamic automatic manner. Whenever you are going to configure that one, what exactly the host configuration DHCP does is, whenever you assign to a particular machine, that particular machine, they will take that IP addresses. Normally that IP addresses will be released to that particular machine for a 3 days period, most probably. So whenever you restart, number of times the machines, they won't be changed, their IP addresses will be leave as it is. They won't change the IP addresses and will leave as it is for about 3 days. That is simply going to be as a static. But still, even though you set it like it is up to you to decide it, you can configure it whenever you want to release your the IP addresses for about 2 days, for about 3 days, for about 1 day, for about 7 weeks, for about 1 week. So you can configure it. So once you configure it, so that is going to be a sort of a type of a static IP addresses, where it is going to use it in a we call it says like what we call it like a static manner. So it doesn't change that once it is assigned to you to your machines, it doesn't change for about 3 days at least minimum, or you can configure it up to the 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, or sometimes you can assign the DHCP for a lifetime as well. So that means that will be going to assign lifetime. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right, so that is the idea of having the DHCP. So it's, you can decide, you can configure it when you configure in the DHCP, not from your PCs but from the DHCP servers, right? Not from your PCs. That is not controllable from your PCs. That is controllable from the server that you have configured. Are you clear, guys, this one?
Yes, sir.
Right. So do you need the explanation from the Sinhala language as well?
Yes.
Okay. දැන් වෙන්නේ මේකයි. DHCP දැම්මට පස්සේ දැන් DHCP server එක සාමාන්‍යයෙන් by default එයාලා දැන් අපිට IP එකක් assign කරන්න ගියාම IP assign කරන්න machine එකට IP assign කරන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම දෙකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි DHCP, අනිත් එක තමයි static. Static කියන්නේ ඔයා manually ගිහිල්ලා IP address එක configure කරන එක. Static එක. DHCP එකේදී ඔයාලා කරන්නේ server එකෙන් release කරනවා IP එක. අපි කියලා server එකට configure කරලා තියෙනවා IP range එක මොකද්ද, subnet mask මොනවද, ඒ ටික ඔක්කොම දාලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට එහෙම තමයි configuration හැදෙන්නේ. ඔයා machine එකට IP එකක් දැම්මට පස්සේ DHCP එකෙන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් by default ඒක එයා තියාගන්නවා දවස් 3ක්. ඔයා machine එක කොච්චර ප්‍රමාණයක් reboot කරලා network එකෙන් ගලවලා කොහොම කරත් ඌ දවස් 3ක් ඇතුළතදී ඔයා machine එක ආයේ network එකට ගැහුවොත් අර කලින් assign කරපු IP එකම තමයි මතක තියාගෙන දෙන්නේ. So they will remember that IP for about 3 days period and they will give you the IP address, the same IP address as that they have assigned previously. ඒක ඔයාලට configure කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක දවස් 3කට දාන්න පුළුවන්, ඕනනම් දවස් 7කට දාන්න පුළුවන්, ඕනනම් එක දවසකට විතරක් තියන්න පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් lifetime කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. lifetime කරන්න නම් ඔයාගේ machine එකේ MAC address එකට එක IP එකක් bind කරන්න. ඒතකොට lifetime ඔයා ඒ network එකට ගැහුවට පස්සේ DHCP assign කරන්නේ එකම IP එක. ඒක තමයි DHCP එකේ configuration එක. හරිද කතන්දරේ තේරුණාද?
ඔව් සර්.
Right. So the people who's the rest of the people, like people who doesn't understand Sinhala, do you get it what I have explained through the English? Please, I need your response.
Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay, if you can't understand anything, just let me know, then I can explain it, because I am not quite sure that you are not going to have the lectures for not the lectures, actually the exams for about next couple of months, I guess. So anyway, they don't have any planning for the online exams as well. So nothing to worry about it. So we have so many actually we have enough time, so we can go through it and we can understand the concepts in a sort of a similar manner. So nothing to worry about it. So if you can't understand anything, just let me know, because we almost right now we have only another 2 to 3 for about another 2 weeks period we will be finishing off our IPv4 address scheme, and then we are going to start the IPv6 address schemes, and again that will be goes like 10 hours time. So 10 hours in the sense, if I take 2.5 hours, if we deliver the lectures 2 days for the week and 2.5 hours per one session, so we can finish it off 2 weeks. And then again next thing is the routing, that is again we will be take only not more than 4 hours time, so maybe maximally 1 week, 2.5 hour 2 lectures, that is 5 hours. So we have only another 15 to 20 hours lecture session. So if you do have any concerns, please let me, you can ask at any time, and I can answer it with my knowledge. Okay, guys.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. So to give you now the clear understanding again about these particular things, so we'll go through again another sort of assignment here. It's not actually a marked assignment, nothing to worry, because marked assignments will give you on tomorrow. We'll have a lecture session tomorrow, like 5 to again the 5 to 7:30. So we'll have it. So until now, let me say, if you ask to create host IPs of 126, what is the subnet mask and slash notation which required for 28 IPs of 28 host IPs. Host IPs. What is the subnet mask and slash notation for 64 host IPs? What is the subnet mask and slash notation? Okay, guys, give your answers for these 3 questions. It's I can give you 5 minutes time because it's a quick thing. You can now quickly answer those questions. Some are given the correct answer, some are not actually. So if you need the 126 host IPs, so how many IPs actually we need to assign? 126 plus 2 IPs. The extra that is for the network and the network IP and the
Host
broadcast IP.
broadcast rate.
Yeah, so that is going to be 128 IPs. 128 IPs. That means what is the power 2 to the power value? 2 to the power
2 to the power
7.
7.
7.
Like, so the network portions will be assigned like 32 minus 7, that is 25. Simply 25, that is the slash notation is 25. If you look at the subnet mask, 1 8 ones, 8 ones, 8 ones, that is 24, and the 1 rest of the 7 are the zeros. So the subnet mask will goes like 255.255.255.128. This is the correct answer for this one. Then 28 host IPs, host IPs, host IPs, and plus 2 extra, that is for the network IP address and the broadcast IP address. So that is going to be something like 32 IP addresses. 32 in the sense, what is that one? 32, sorry, 30 IP addresses. The nearest 2 to the power value is 32, that is 2 to the power 5.
5.
That means 32 minus 5 in the sense slash 27 network. Ones, 8 ones, 8 ones, that is 16, 24s, 25, 26, 27. Rest of the things are 5 zeros will be there. So the count will be, the subnet mask will be 255.255.255. What is the value?
2 to 4.
2 to
2 to 4.
224. 224. 64 host IPs, that is 64 host IPs plus another 2 IP addresses, 2 IPs for the broadcast and the network address, that is 66 IPs. So what is the nearest value for the 66 IPs? 2 to the power, what is the
7.
value? 2 to the power 7, that is actually 128. 2 to the power 7 is 32 minus 7, that is exactly slash 20, 25. So it's
5.
exactly the above subnet 255 dot, I'm not going to calculate again, 255.255.128. So this is the subnet. So you can see the subnet mask with the slash notations when you have given the necessary the host IP addresses. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you are going to design the network, next important thing here is that I have mentioned here, like something like this, like say for example, you will be having PCs, different PCs, which are getting connected to the switch, This is the switch environment that we will be going to discuss, which are getting connected to the switch. This is also getting connected. This is also getting connected. This is also getting connected. So you can see there are different things getting connected to the switch. Whenever they want to talk, this switch will be getting connected to the router. The switch will be getting connected to the router. This is, we call it as a router. And from the router, they will be talked to the outside users. That is the internet. We call it as internet. So here, this is our gateway. This is the gateway for this all the machine environment. So whenever you are designing this one, so you can assign the host IPs 1, 2, 3, 4. There are multiple host IPs, and apart from that, you need to think about the gateway IP address as well, which is again another host, which is considered as another host. So nothing to worry about it. So it's not a special type of address. It's another host that we will be assigning the as a gateway. Are you clear, guys? So this is the gateway in the sense the door to outside. Are you clear, guys? Because if they want to communicate internally, you don't want to send the traffic to the gateway. But if they, at some point, if they want to talk to the outside users, they need to definitely talk to the gateway, and gateway should send the traffic to the outside. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, is it clear, this one? What about the rest, guys? I need your
Explain again, sir.
සර් එතකොට සර් දැන් අපිට ප්‍රශ්නයක් කියලා තිබ්බොත් හොස්ලා 24 මේ 26ක් ඉන්න ඕනේ කියලා අපි
ඔව්.
දෙකක් සබ්නෙට් එකයි බ්‍රෝඩ්කාස්ට් එකයි ගන්නවානේ මේ ID එකටයි
ඔව්.
බ්‍රෝඩ්කාස්ට් එකයි ඒකටයි තව මේ
ඔව්.
ඒකටත් එක්ක ගේට්වේ එකක් දාන්න කියලා තිබ්බොත් එතකොට හොස්ලා මේ 29ක් වෙනව නේද
නෑ.
PC
gateway එක අර host IP එකෙන්ම ඔයා ගන්න ඕනි, like say for example, this is the next thing that we will be going to discuss again. We will be going to learn some easiest way to design and define your network with the subnetting and the concepts. So let's just think about simple thing. Just think about, they have given you, they have said that you have the 192.168.0.0 IP address block. This is, they didn't define anything, IP address block, which is required for required for, let's say this is very much important, this easiest method for the calculation which is required when you designing the large network, like you have 1,000 IP addresses. Clear? So which is they are saying like you should require to define the network to have it something like 1,000 IPs, 1,000 host IPs, host IPs. Define the subnet mask and CIDR's notation. CIDR, classless interdomain routing, that is a slash notation with the IP address block. Right. So this is, I'm going to teach you the easiest way to define your network. Very much easiest way. So we are given you right now, you need to, this is the IP block 192.168.0.0 IP address block, which is required for 1,000 host IPs. So we need to break it down a subnet, which is we can define the thousands host IPs. Now we are asking us, let's say for example, this is we say /16. Make a kelima, they have given the /16, which we need to break further to cater only for the 1,000 host, right? Because when you say /16, it is catering to the 2 to the power 16 host IPs, which is very much higher values than the thousands to catering for the thousands. So we need to break it down this 1,000 host, this particular /16 subnet to the smaller portions where it will tally with the thousands IP addresses, 1,000 IPs. So just tell me what is the subnet P required. That is obviously you can easily generate the subnet mask. 1,000 IPs, what is the subnet mask we required? Can you guys quickly go through it? Quickly, very quickly. Right, let me see that one. So okay, I'll explain that one again. So you know that this is what we have right now experience is, that is the 1,000 IP addresses. When you say thousands, actually it does not make any sense, even though we have added 2 IP separately, because it says 1,002. Of course, you don't want to worry about it, the last the special IP addresses, host IPs is still, you can edit like this. 2 extra IPs like broadcast and the network, 2 IPs. Now the number of IP actually we required is 1,002. Right. So just tell me, whenever you require 1,002, what is the nearest 2 to the power value?
2 to the power 10.
2 to the power
10.
It's a 2 to the power 10, 1,024. 1,024. That means we need to remove 10 bits from the 32-bit subnet mask. That is the slash notation will be 22. That means 111 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 16 17 18 19 20 21 22. Rest of the things are the zeros. That means 255 dot, this is the subnet mask that we are going to do. 255 dot, the this is here, we need to remove from the 255 we have to remove 1 and 2. So it's going to be the 252.0. So this is the subnet mask. So now we have defined and decided what is the slash notations. This is the CIDR notations or the slash notations. This is the subnet mask that we have defined for this one. Now we need to decide the IP address set. So it contains 1,024 IP addresses. We need to define the IP address set with the 1,024. Is it possible to, just by looking at, is it possible to decide it? By looking at this IP address, so you can say you have 192.168.0.0/16 IP block. That now we need to define it to the slash 22 IP blocks, which is we need to get the IP values as well. So by to previously when we have decided like just a small values like slash the 32 IP addresses blocks, 16 IP addresses blocks, 64 IP addresses block, that we can easily define. But with this, it is not possible to define it. What we can do is, if you want to define the IP block range, just take the whole IP subnet. This is the easiest calculations that we can do. This is the whole IP subnet. Reduce the subnet that you have decided, 252.0. When you reduce it, basically that we are going to do is 0.0.0, sorry, 0.0.3.255. This is the value. So the IP subnet that we are going to define here is 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.3.255, 3.255 slash, that is the 22 network. So the next IP block will be goes like 192.168.4.0 to 192.168.7.255. Why? We will be going to add this value 00325. Just add it to the last bit here 002. We have added the 3.255. Here, the once you define the 3.255, next IP which is starting with 4.0 to 192.168.4.0 to 192.168.7.255. For these last two values, we have added the 3.255. Is it clear, guys? This is the equations. This is the easiest way to define this one. So I'll again do another practical example here. Just start with this type of values. We have given 192.168.1.0/24 network. This is the network, and ask us to, let's say for example 30 PCs. Define the subnet mask, CIDR notations, and the IP address set. Look at this one. Whenever you want to define the IP address set, 30 PCs, look at this one again. 30 PCs plus 2 IP addresses, separately 2 hosts that we have to assign. Altogether 32 IPs. 32 IPs in the sense exactly 2 to the power 5. 2 to the power 5. That means if you look at the slash notation, 32 minus 5, that is slash 27. Slash 27 in the sense 255.255.255. What is the value? Guys, if it is a slash 27, what is the value?
224.
224, right? 255.255.224. So then you just take the whole subnet, that is 255.255.255, reduce the value that you have calculated, 224. Once you reduce it, what you are getting is 0.0.0. What is the exact value? 255 minus 224. 30. What is the value? 31. Guys, just reduce it. This is subtractions, grade 6 maths. Not actually grade 6, I guess, grade 5, 4 maths, I guess. So 226, sorry, 0.0.031. So the first IP address will be going like 192.168.1.31, 1.0 to 192.168.1.31, that is slash 27 network. The next one will be 192.168.1.32 to 192.168.1.63. what we are going to do is we are going to add the value that we have decided here to the first IP of the IP block. Is it clear, guys? /27. So this is the easiest way to get the IP address blocks, and once you define the subnet mask. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
What about the others?
Yes, sir.
Does everyone clear this concept?
Yes, sir.
So because I will give you the exact same questions, these type of questions tomorrow for the assignments. You can either use this particular simple method and give the answers, or you can decide in what we have discussed so far, like a sort of a theoretical way. So this is the easiest method. The reason why I have given you in the teaching everything, because you need to understand the concepts. So you know how it is going to get it, but you can use for the calculation purpose, you can use this easiest method. Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Great, guys. Great. So now, since you have cleared, tomorrow we will be going to, let's say, for about another half an hour for the 45 minutes. We will be going to have the assignments. So you need to send it to the chat. I will mark it with your index number. I will then and there I will mark your assignments resource. So that is going to be most probably the 5 marks assignment. Sorry, not the 5 marks. It's going to be 10 marks assignment. Okay, guys.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Right. So then, since we have covered this is actually what we have covered so far is the CCNA contact on the IP addressing for the IPv4 addressing. So if you are willing to follow the CCNA, you can you have to just go through these concepts very thoroughly and deeply, actually. Right. So with this, I'm going to conclude your lecture sessions for today. So we'll meet on next, not next, actually tomorrow. So we hopefully we can finish it off your lectures by the end of the November, first 2 weeks of the December. Most probably we can finish it off. Okay, guys.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Bye.